Second video today, man. Like, guys, this is fantastic news. Monday is quite epic. We've got some great news from the. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a journalist. This is not going to be a regular thing. If I'm making a video, it's because I have nothing better going on at that moment. I am not a journalist. This is not going to be me. I'm not Matt Morris or any of these other guys. Go to them if you need journalism. I am in the tech industry. I build applications. I engineer stuff. I do systems engineering primarily. I used to be a professional tester in the tech industry, mostly with cryptocurrency and stuff like that. I used to work for a company called XFX and make graphics card. I was in the assembly line. I also worked for Cherry Switch Company, the company that makes mechanical switches here in Illinois, the United States. I think they're in Mundelein. It's kind of hard to write on that line between Mundelein and Schaumburg. It's kind of hard to tell if they're Mundelein or Schaumburg. I can't recall which. I've worked at Motorola, doing the same thing I did at XFX assembly. And Motorola's gone. But this is, remember that $400 million data breach Coinbase suffered? This is related to something I do have a lot of expertise in. Coinbase is terrible. I would never use them. And I am not a competitor with Coinbase, but I have had my money taken by Coinbase. I had what is now about $70,000 taken from Coinbase. They never contacted me to recover. They never did anything. They never replied. And we now know why they never replied. Coinbase suffered a few months ago. It was a result of hackers bribing Indian tech support staff who worked for TaskUs, an Indian contractor. This is what happens when your tech support is not internal. I now know why I am $70,000 broker because of Coinbase. Because some Indian let them steal my work, and every time I tried contacting them, guaranteed the Indian guy, the Indians don't like me. I'm going to tell you that right now. They don't like me. I'm known in India. Like when I call up tech support for Amazon, they already know who I am. Hi. And so I'm not a fan of the work visa program. Well known. Very well known about that. I hate it. I can't stand it. I think it's the worst thing that the United States has done right after NAFTA. I was the reason why NAFTA got changed. Like that was my primary wish in 2016. I pushed that for Donald Trump. That's what my campaign position was. This is my campaign position. If you vote for me this next year, I am anti-NAFTA, anti-trade agreement. I am pro-tariff. I understand that Mises doesn't agree with me, but I took a different analysis approach to it, and I don't side with Mises on this issue. I am still Austrian. I'm still a Bastiat. Yep, all that stuff. Just I don't agree with them. If they wish to just have a conversation with me about it, they know how to contact me. They have several points of contact. I'm a donor. I have been a member in the past. They know who I am. I am not an unknown figure. Feel free to contact me, Mises. But my point being is, this is detrimental to the economy. That's $400 million that was vacuumed up. Just gone. None. Gone. No more. But my policy position on this is if you don't allow outsourcing for financial needs or, national security stuff, you wouldn't have this problem. But since we do, which makes no sense, it's absolutely insane. Only your enemy would want you to have people with such loose morality running your tech industry. And that's the only reason why I can see the Democrats are pushing it, is because they're our enemy. They support, I don't know, who's our primary near-peer adversary, CCP in Russia. I highly doubt the Russians would want us to have a bunch of Indians running our tech support. That just sounds crazy. But this goes into showing that, you cannot trust these people, not necessarily because you can't trust Indians. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can't trust a foreign adversary that is your direct competitor in anything. India is our direct competitor for tech support. Like, I don't know how, but they barely speak English. They don't actually understand the technology, but they certainly do have loose morals. Example. Those with loose morals have loose lips. That means they're willing to snitch on themselves. And I'm not a criminal, but I know that stitches get stitches thing is a criminal thing, so bye. Again, like I said, this is a bad idea. Importing these people for work visas is a terrible idea. Not only is it not America First, which is I'm 100% pro-America First, it leads to stuff like this. And you have to understand, if a country is willing to let their workers, and we'll ignore the fraud instances, the incidences of fraud with their degree program in India and the degree factory where they have them running off the printer, just enter your name type thing. We'll ignore that for a second. If you have these people in your country and your economy is burgeoning and building, and there's a lot of demand for this industry, and the wages are starting to go up and all this other stuff, and you're trying to keep that cost of labor down so you can keep the wages in a reasonable way so you can grow faster and have a more resilient growth period during the growth period of this industry. Why would you allow them to get a visa to go work in a country where they can make more and likely never return? These are not your best and brightest if you let them leave. So you would never want your best and brightest to leave. You'd be fine with people who have fake degrees, your low grade scores, your 2.5 GPA, PhDs, and stuff like that. You'd be okay with those guys. Those guys are bottom of the barrel. They're a dime a dozen. I mean, there's entire fields of... I'm in physics and stuff, so physics, economics, and sustainable engineering are my choices of education. And that's what I studied in school. And I can tell you from a physics standpoint, there are plenty of 2.5 GPA PhDs out there. They're usually on a television screen somewhere. They're usually not doing research. They're just, they're out there getting the good word out, getting the message out. Same with economists. Like, the most popular economists are not they're not the 4.0 GPA guys or the 2.5 GPA guys, because they're usually the guys that got by on their ability to BS their way through an interview and lie consistently, very consistently. Like we had a Ben Bernanke and Krug the man lied for 20 years. They're still lying, and here we are. But 2.5 GPA gets you a PhD. PhD program accepts you. That's all that matters, right? You just have to keep that 2.5 and up GPA. I don't know if you know what a 2.5 GPA means. It means you understand the words in the sentence, but you don't understand what they actually mean. That's what it actually means. It means you're gullible enough to listen and repeat and memorize and go by rote, but it means you don't actually understand the subject at a more advanced level. And it's nothing, I'm not saying that you're a terrible human being, just how it is. I'm not attacking you for saying you're a terrible human being. You do what you got to do, but if you're one of those people that's at that level and you're doing despicable things for money, it's dishonest, then you might be a terrible human being. And just like this, when you import work visas at lower than 2.5 GPA, because they didn't even bother to go to school, I didn't have enough money. Okay, that's understandable. I'm broke too. That's why I didn't finish college. I don't have any money. I'm broke, completely broke. So if you can't afford college, it's understandable. You can work your way through it. Unless you're in the United States, because $40,000 a semester is insane. That's insane. And that's just for the classes. And I've met some of these professors and I've read some of their work. They are not worth $40,000 a semester. You're out of your mind. Some of these professors are not worth that much. A lot of these professors are not worth that much. And I've been to some major universities, like I've been accepted in Ivy Leagues. I've read Ivy League level PhD work for physics, like CERN laboratory stuff. I've met some of these people, and their work is really good. You get down to not that level, and I'm questioning how they got their PhD sometimes. I'm looking at it like, what? This isn't even a new novel approach to anything. It's just rehashing in a different formula. Like, yeah, okay, we'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to go put anyone on blast, especially not at Parkside. They're already openly involved with the criminal organizations and rape gangs. Yeah, it's wonderful people, absolutely wonderful people. But you know, that $400 million data breach from Coinbase, that's $400 million the U.S. economy is never going to recover. And we know it's the U.S. economy because Coinbase is stationed here. They're based here in the United States. It's a U.S. company. You have to have a valid U.S. ID to gain access to Coinbase. And while I say, you know, Coinbase is okay, what I mean is they're okay because they haven't paid me back. They owe me like 70 grand. And they haven't paid me. Yeah, there's a reason why I'm broke. People that stole my money never gave it back, and I have no legal recourse. And good luck getting law enforcement to do anything that isn't harassing you because they think you're a racist. Yeah, okay. The obvious decline in intelligence in the United States has accelerated faster than I thought it would. It has been, in my lifetime, absolutely embarrassing to see what has happened in the United States. We went from the 80s where I was learning all about physics. It's back when I started. Physics and stuff like that, mechanical aeronautical engineering, to today where the most sophisticated conversation is in a lower bar than idiocracy. Like, you watch the movie where they just fart, and the stuff I see on TV is lower than that. And that was a movie. That was silver screen tier. And the stuff that's on TV is of lower quality than the movie has.